Hello everyone, it's Dantes here again, another video with Bygone Phantasm progression into our fantasy. Today for 106, we're gonna focus two guys with the big mallets and leave the guy who's showing rocks at us, basically to be dealt with AoE damage. A reason that you probably remember from the last video is because those guys have a much more health compared to the throwing guy. So keeping them together is the key for this floor. It's worth to mention that triggering a time stop mechanic on this wave is very simplistic because those mobs have a long time, the animation for their attacks, and usually after they one attack they also trigger under instantly. So if you fail usually first a dodge, and if you press fast enough another dodge, if you have a charge, you're gonna trigger a time stop mechanic. Perfectly recommend you to always have a weapon charge ready for dealing with them, and that's about it. Because this wave is very easy to deal with if you can just trigger a time stop mechanic quite often. And yeah, that's much else to say. Just basically practice your time stop, and you're gonna kill this wave very fast and easy. Because this is one of the most simplest wave in the entire Bygone Phantasm. Because of the slow animation of these guys do, that makes you easy to trigger attacks mechanics. And here we are at the next floor, 207. So here we have a kinda shady robot that's kinda like looking like a ghost, and samurai, and some basically like Lieutenant Z, which basically is the guy from previous video which has the most health on this wave. Keeping together enemies on this wave is very important, because if you're like free player like me, you're gonna have struggled to deal with damage to them. And positioning is very important as well, because if you like split them like this, and you're gonna let them charge their attacks, for example, the guy, the Lieutenant Z, basically can charge like almost half the arena. And if that happens, well, as you can see right here, he's way out of our sight, and we're losing time damaging him. So keeping them together and making them come to you always, and trying to basically keep them into the area of damage that you do is very important. And that's pretty much it. Just basically keep your position right, and make them always come to you. And if you see them triggering the dash mechanics, which basically it's kind of hard to describe because their attack patterns are random, you have to just kind of practice yourself. And if you can overcome that, even if you're lacking damage like me as a player, you can clear this wave with no problem. Wave 308. So here we have a robot and two scorpions, luckily no lizards. So for this wave, if you focus the big robot, he has most health. Lizards, as you probably noticed by your own experience in the Bygone Phantasy, they have like insane low health, so you don't have to worry them much. Like the worst thing that can happen is basically they can kind of stand looking for like 2-3 seconds, which is no big deal. Since if you can keep damaging the big robot, you're gonna kill this wave with any issue, because a robot has more health, and I mean if you just compare about those NPCs right here. Okay, imagine robot is a tank, and those predators, aka those scrapper things, are like basically a paper. So you focus a tank, and paper basically will be dealt with automatically if you just keep them together. Not to mention, triggering time stop on this wave is very easy because of the robot's full attacks, and even if not, if you pay attention to those predators, aka scorpions, charging their stun ability, if you time it right, with I don't know, like 10 to 15 minute practice, you can actually trigger time stop pretty easily. But as you can see, I don't focus them at all. I just focus the big guy, and basically they're really automatically dealt with. So there's no reason to waste time damaging them. Just focus on the big guy, and that's about it. And as always, remember to have your weapon charge ready for the shield breaking, like here, because you don't want to be DPSing basically a tanky Bob when his shield on, because when you're lacking damage like me, you want to deal as much damage in windows where you have no shield as soon as possible. Here we are at wave 209. On this wave, we got back the kinda ghost looking thingy, some berserkers, lovely Lieutenant Z, and one samurai. So, as previously mentioned, you keep those enemies together, make them come to you, and try to time stop when they're gonna try to trigger the dash mechanic, which basically you have to just pay attention by yourself. Use a shield, you use your weapon to basically break their shield as soon as possible. And personally, why I actually invested in a King, and that's actually one that I have, is because King, unlike for example ice weapons, not only he breaks the shield, it's probably kind of slower than for like a melee weapon, but what he does is also leaving damage over time if I break the shield with them. So I have initial ignite from the weapon itself, then I also got the ignite when I actually break their shield, and also with a combination that I have on my side the Robark set, I deal additional damage over time. So basically, when I see shield, I break it fast, and I switch to my Volt weapons, I deal insane amount of damage in this time. Especially as you can see those yellow-ish numbers, that basically just damage over time. And if I can basically kind of slow them with my Nemesis gun right here, and then prepare my charge for the sight again, I can go back to dealing damage because I see shield triggered, I press my sight, I break the shields, and boom, damage over time is ticking. And well, aside from mistake here, because I was actually meaning to use a Nemesis gun, because Nemesis gun does actually throw them away from each other, I would have a way better time of clearing this wave. So it's worth to actually pay attention to what skills you're gonna use in your rotation. So in that case, I wouldn't want to use the pistols because they throw enemies together and I need to keep them close. And yeah, shield is up, I break it, and back again to doing damage. And time has come for the final floor of this video, one with the boss, with the Minotaur. So, by far, I like this boss the most, because it's, I mean, to be honest, this is actually the easiest boss for me to kill in this game. Because I have nearly perfected time stop dodge on this boss, like to the point. I can comfortably trigger it 95% of the times. So, quick overview. His shield, you basically break it with a charged weapon and save your active skill, like for example with mid-sight. Then I would recommend you to deal damage over time to him. For example, you trigger, I don't know, like a Nemesis gun, with a charged weapon skill, and then you mount him to deal damage. And rise and repeat. What else? His damage is kinda also low for considering to any other enemies on this type of the floor. And as you can see, almost his armies are literally slow as that. So if you can even get him into like Nemesis slow field, which slows even further, you can literally trigger dance mechanic literally always, which is kinda insane. Like look at here. Damage over time with my tornadoes, my Nemesis gun. Like I probably should actually use here a king weapon, but I got enough damage for now. Don't worry about that because my king weapon actually deals more damage over time than my Nemesis, which you guys probably see in the later videos because I done some kind of interesting testing, especially on the lizards that I encountered at 2:19, which were actually took me 4 days to beat, which you're gonna actually enjoy that part of the video in like 2 days. And yeah, as for this boss, very simplistic, to get a time stop, deal damage over time to him as much as possible, and then DPS with your main weapon, and you're gonna melt him down. Because if I will rank him in difficulty, this guy will be a little an F. Yeah. So my gear right in a second, so enjoy it. My gear will be the same for next 2 more videos, because I went on this clearing spree from like 200 to 220. I mean to be precise to 219, where I got stuck for the 4 days on the lizards. Anyway, enjoy the gear and hope you to see you in the next video. And consider subscribing. That really helps me by a lot. Yeah, have a great day.